Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. So, today it is my own opinion, and this is for entertainment purposes only, so please do not take any financial advice away from this. So, I went to the county fair this weekend. I had totally forgotten about it, but when I went out to do errands, I saw people parking for the parade, so I went and finished my errands. I came back, there was about a couple hours until it was supposed to end. So I was able to park, and it's at the elementary school. So I walked through the whole, it's one of those things where people, they hype it up and everybody's excited about it, and that you get asked whether you're going or not. And you get there, and there's like 10 booths. But we are supporting the firefighters and local artists. And so I am happy enough to go and talk to my neighbors at the county fair. So I came and I was going towards the elementary school because there's some activities inside and I wanted to check them out. And the way that they have set up all the booths are the Democrats were on one side and the Republicans were on the other side. So I was trying to get into the elementary school when an old guy on a bicycle just started screaming at the Democrats, who were also old people in a booth, but it was very abnormal, so I just stopped and stared. And this guy was concerned because of the economy, which is fair. The inflation has been bad. People are not better off economically. At least it doesn't feel like that than they were 4 years ago. But in the middle of his rant, he said, "I am a business owner, and under Trump, I was making $200,000 a year. And under Biden, I am only making $11,000 a year." And that was not the point of what he was trying to say. But it took me, I just was wondering, what business do you have that lost 95% of its value? And one of the Democrats in the booth actually said, if you were making $200,000 under Trump and $11,000 now, that is a you problem and not the government. And so the guy got off his bicycle and stormed over to the booth and threatened to harm the Democrat. And it was just so intense, and I didn't really feel very comfortable standing there. But the guy never answered what his business was. And I don't know any business that you would have lost 95% of your profits under anything Biden. The closest, well, as he was walking away, he also said, "Well, I'm not a Wall Street person with enough money to buy stocks." And I was also like, I mean, you can open up a Robinhood account and invest with $1. It's really not, but I mean, it was not the appropriate time to try to educate someone about investing. Also, the security guard came and they kicked him out of the county fair, so everything returned back to normal. But the closest thing I could come up with was, well, for business-wise around in this area, there is a lot of farming. So if his flock had to be culled for the avian flu, which I think the last outbreak was last year, that would be devastating. That would be basically 100% loss of your business. But there are indemnities that the government gives you to rebuild after things like that happen. And the guy didn't say what his business was, but he said it was because of employees for some reason. So it was very, very confusing. But also, what else can you lose 95% of your money in? And the answer is the stock market. So I was wondering, of the best performing stocks between 2017 and 2020, if you had invested in those stocks, would you be better off now than when you first invested? And so I looked it up, and I've never used StatMuse before. And I'll be honest that when I was looking up what it would be nowadays, some of these stocks actually just didn't exist in the years they said that they performed the best. I don't know if there was mergers and like they're called something else now, but I tried my best and I didn't like fact check these things. Anyways, so when I first looked it up, I was like, wow, 4,000,000%, 4,000%, 3,000%. And, I was really looking forward to seeing how did they fare, like how rich are people right now. And let's look. So in 2017, if we sort this from Z to A, there are some options that you would have done better than just the S&P 500, but not a lot, honestly, like almost 50%. And then in 2018, you would have been better off with just VU, like straight up. And then also in 2019, VU was your best bet. And in 2020, the same thing. So this was interesting to me because it's very enticing when you see a stock that's going up a few %1,000% and you think, oh my gosh, I want to ride this and I'm going to go like, this stock went up 3,000%. And so I'm going to go in and it's going to go up for a long time. And, you put in your money and it goes up 100%. You're like, great, I'm just going to keep it on going. It goes up 200%. I'm never getting out. 300%, let's go. And then after 400%, it just drops. And it pumped and dumped. And now it's close to zero. And you really could have just invested in the S&P 500 and it wouldn't have been the adrenaline rush, but in the long term you would have been much better off. And so this helped illustrate it to me, just to hammer home when people say like just invest in the S&P 500. They really do mean it, and that like 95% of people would be really well off basically having their entire portfolio in some kind of S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100. And this is also why I try not to get too excited or feel like FOMO into these type of stocks. And before recently, I was just not interested in investing in individual stocks. They're risky and usually not worth like the anxiety and aggravation, but I am in Bitcoin now, but I needed the income in my own defense. So I just, in general, you don't need $200,000 a year before you think about investing. You really can open up a Robinhood account and start with $1. And it might not have the same impact as if you had $200,000, but over time, if you have $5 and you do it every other week, and like you don't go into Robinhood every day, but like every year you go in, you'll see the progress and it'll be impressive. And I don't know you, but for me, it's really motivating to say like, oh wow, my portfolio went up and it's, gone up about 50% in the last 4 years. Maybe I can, find a better job to get more money so that we can keep doing this, or I can allocate more. And, I would like 50% more money. I would like 100% more money. So I don't like it when people try to gatekeep investing. And I also have to have some grace for people that live locally, because a lot of people around here just are getting by on the basics. And the basics does not include a cell phone or the internet. I mean, necessarily. So I can't assume that everybody has easy access to the internet, and therefore they probably don't have access to online banking. And not having access to online banking really does close you off to some of these more convenient things, the fractional shares and being able to participate in the stock market. So while I think it's not true that he can't participate in the stock market, I don't know this person. So maybe it's just not in the culture that they do it, or they just don't know, or they don't have the internet or a cell phone. I wouldn't know. But for me, this is just a good reminder that indexes are good, and that for the most part, you'll be richer if you calm down and don't try to be too greedy. And that, sometimes being tricky and using weird things doesn't actually go in your favor. But anyways, that's what happens. That was the weekend excitement. Have you ever been tempted by one of these stocks that are going in real hot and being up a few %? Did you buy in, and do you regret it? Or were you able to resist and just invested in VOO? I'll talk to you later. Bye.